All right. Good evening, friends and family. Welcome to another live episode. This season is season 2. We're going to talk all about debt. If you're new here, my name is Izzy. I am a finance coach slash virtual mentor, and I am here to teach you all that I know about finance, productivity, and overall well-being management. Okay, if you take care of all those three, you'll have a wonderful, wealthy, and healthy life. Okay, if you again, if you're new here, we go live every Thursday at 7 p.m. and our recaps are posted the next day at 8 a.m. on financialcoachizzy.com. Okay. So in the last episode, I talked about two ways to get out of debt really fast. And when I was doing that, I realized that most people don't make thousands of dollars. Okay, we use the example of $4,000 a month, and that's just not the case for some people. It's not even the case for me at the current moment. Okay, so what if you make $2,000 a month like I do? Or what if you make $1,000 a month? Or even worse, what if you make less than $1,000 a month? And that's what I'm going to be talking about tonight. Is it possible to pay off debt with a low income? Now, keep in mind, I am referring to any and all forms of consumer debt. This includes personal loans, student loans, car loans, personal credit cards, medical debts, and the rest. Before we move on, though, just want to say that I am in no way, shape, or form giving personal financial advice. The advice that I give to you tonight is merely based off of my personal experiences, my testimonials, the testimonials from others that I've researched, and just basic overall financial advice. You are to use these at your own financial risk and at your own discretion. Okay? So, is it possible to pay off debt with a low income? The short answer, yes, it is very possible. Okay? But it will be a lot harder. In this case, you will more than likely need all of your money to provide for your essentials. But it is not impossible to pay off debt while doing so. So if you come here for the short answer, there's your answer here. But like I said, if you want to go into depth a little bit more, pay attention, because I'm going to be showing you ways to do this. Okay? Or an alternative way if you're on a low income. All right. So all is not lost, but what you don't want to do in this time period is take on more debt. So how do I know this is possible? Let me give you a bit of my backstory, okay, and why I hate debt so much. You guys see my pretty face there. I kind of had fun just a little bit. Here's my backstory. So I lived in Texas from 2011 to 2016. I got my first job there. I was making $7.50 an hour, and I got to tell you, it was the best job, but I only worked 10 hours a week because I was still in school. I was still in high school at the time. As a matter of fact, I was 15. Okay. But because I started learning more on that job and showing them that I was capable, I bumped up to $8 an hour. And that blew my mind that I was making so much money. I was appreciative of that after a while, but I wanted more. So because I wanted more, I then got another job making $8 an hour still, but I had more hours, including weekends, and I don't care to name that company. But I was getting tips when I was making $8 an hour, and so I was making $8 an hour, and I was getting tips whenever I had to be a server. Okay, so by the time I turned 18, I had reached the limit of how much I was going to make for the next 7 years. I was making at 18, I made $12 an hour plus overtime. I was working at a warehouse, a popular. I was working at a well-known warehouse, and it was short-lived because I was only there for 2 months, but good money, really good money. They let me go because I took a stand. I wasn't going to tolerate how they were treating some of the employees. But the last job, by 2016, the last job I had in Texas, I made $11.65 an hour, to which they bumped me up about 5 cents. So by the time I left, I think I was making $11.70. It was a weird number, but that around that time was when I was making the worst financial decisions of my life. Okay, I was racking up debt while still trying to live in an apartment. So I had an apartment by this time, and I had a car. I had a Mazda CX-7 that I was financing, and I had to pay that plus the car insurance. And so that was about $400 a month, plus it was another $200-300 for insurance. So I was doing that, making $11.65 an hour. Needless to say, all of my money went into my apartment, which was about $750 a month, and the car payment was about $750. Mind you, I was making about $1,500, so I only had truly $50. So I was using credit to live. Okay. Needless to say, I made horrible decisions spending wise to impress those around me, especially women, just to keep it short. But those decisions would implode on me and force me to move back in with my mom back here in Florida. Okay. When I got back, it took me 2.5 months to find a job. Meanwhile, my debt is racking up, all of that stuff, right? So thought I was at my wit's end because everything was closing in on me. I had it all and I lost it all, right? So I asked God. That was really about the time that I had already knew God, but that was really about the time that I started knowing God. But I asked God in that moment to give me another chance, okay? And if he gave me another chance, that I would do the right thing with my money. And the very next job that I got, I was back at square one. I was making $9 an hour. So most people would see that as God not listening to them. Okay, most people would see that as, wow, I came from making $11.65, now I'm down to $9. But let me tell you guys something. That was the shift, no pun intended. That was the shift that I needed. That was the first time ever, okay? Because I had made a promise to God. I had made a promise. I said if he gave me another chance, I would do the right thing. That was the first time ever that I got to see what within 1 month, I had saved up $600 in my bank account. And that was $600 that I did not need. Okay, so I got to see what that felt like. I did end up needing it, but regardless, never seen that much money in my bank account at a given time. Okay, so fast forward through many other jobs, and I'm now making fast forward. Like I said, I was stagnant at that point, so I never made more than $12 an hour up until this year, 2021. Okay, so I am now making more income that is steadily growing, and I'm here teaching you how not to make my mistakes. So how is it that I had more money when I was on a lower income than when I was living it up on a lot more income? Okay, so the answer is that it is simple. It basically means a lower income means that you can't really afford the things that you truly want, but it does mean that you're in the best position because you don't have money that you can blow. But that does not mean I want you to stay there in your low income and stay in debt. Okay, so here are the things that I did that enabled me to start paying off debt. Okay, number one, You got to increase your value in the market. Okay. A low income or a lack thereof can be directly related to a lack of specific skills or value needed in the market. Chances are you're doing a job that can easily be replaced by with someone else doing that job. Okay. They say that um, hard work pays off. Okay. So if that was the case, if hard work was what it was needed, if hard work is what is needed to be successful, tell me why there are McDonald workers, which now they're, getting their due diligence, but still could be a little bit more. Cashiers, just basic low level jobs where these people work hours upon hours. I'm talking about in the retail industry, all of that stuff. These guys are hitting the ground running, working 8 to 9 to 10 to 12 hours a day, sometimes working double shifts, and they're making low income. Okay. That is because it's not as valuable. Okay. You're impacting a lot of people, but it's not as valuable. That means that someone can come in and do the same exact job that you're doing. All right. I'm not saying In saying that, I'm not saying go out and be a mechanical engineer or a physicist, but I am telling you to learn a skill that will give you a slight edge over the competition in the market. Okay? Because the more valuable you are, the more that you're going to make. I am not sick at all. I think I have allergies. I just been sneezing all day, and for some reason my nose want to give me problems at this particular time. So bear with me. I apologize for the sniffing, but I'm not sick at all. So what did I do? I started reading because I noticed that I've been stagnant in my income. I have flatlined my income in the past 10 years. I have never made over $20,000 a year in 10 years, and I'm 25. And once I realized that, I had to go out and do something. Okay. So what did I do? I started reading all year in 2020. Here's the thing. I hate reading. I hate reading with a passion. Okay. But I found a happy medium. I started listening to audiobooks, Audible plug. I started reading all year because I was tired of making the same amount annually every year and not getting ahead. So I ultimately learned that I could step up and get a forklift certification. So here's the thing about this, guys. My forklift certification only cost me $50 in 2 hours to learn it. Okay? I got the forklift certification back in April. By June of this year, I am now a forklift operator, and I'm making more money than I have in the last 10 years. It doesn't mean that I'm at the peak of what I want to do, but I am steady focusing on increasing my skills so that I can continue to make more money. Okay? So what I'm talking about is, if you get yourself a skill or something that you have a slight edge over the competition of, you get this skill. I'm telling you guys, it works. The more you learn, I'm a big proponent of this because it worked in my life. The more you learn, the more you can earn. Okay? There is no cap on the capital investment that you can make. Learning is the best capital investment that you can make. Okay? You will always see a return on that. All right. So, the number 2 thing that you can do, if you're trying to pay debt off with a low income, is to simply ask your boss for a raise. Okay? You may find that you can just ask your boss for a raise, especially if you have put in the effort and made your job easier or more efficient. Prime example, at my last job, I told them in a meeting that they would see an increased output of shipped products by 30%. I felt confident in that because I established a high level of efficiency in their warehouse. Nothing major, but I did just that. It was nothing I did extra. I just made the warehouse more efficient from getting the products, from getting the actual order to shipping out the order to finalizing the order, all of that stuff. I made that process a little bit more efficient. That was my contribution to the job. Okay. With that said, they reported every month since I said that for the next 3 months, they would report that products going out was up around 30% compared to their last year, with 1 month out of those 3 months being 33%. Okay. But unfortunately, when the time came to ask for a raise, I was low key denied. So I had to go and find better. And I did just that. Okay. Had to take a step out, and wonderful company, but I had to do what was in my best interest. Okay. So number 3, and this is the last thing, and this is something that I am that I hold dear to my heart, because I continue to do that to this day. No matter how much money I make, I am frugal. So I want you to become frugal. Okay. So why do I want you to become frugal? Because the first 2 things that we talked about, okay, increasing your value and asking for a raise, okay, those are basically extrinsic. Okay. They rely on outside factors. Okay. So if you learn a skill, you have to rely on someone acknowledging that skill. Okay. Or that skill being valuable to the market. So the more valuable it is to the market, the more you can be paid, and the more it impacts someone, the more you can be paid. Trust me, I just taught myself something in that statement. But things like these can take time. Okay. When we talk about return on investment, human capital is going to be a little bit of time, because it takes knowledge and conventional wisdom. It's going to take applied experience. And like I said, and speaking of experience, some jobs are going to want you to have just a little bit of experience under your belt. Okay. But also asking for a raise, you might not get that raise, as you heard in my description. Okay. You might not get that raise that you asked for. All right. So the one thing that you can do in this very moment, at this very moment, is decide that you're going to become frugal. Okay. You're going to have to be frugal, even if you only just do it for a while. Okay. If you just say, I just only want to be frugal until I'm making this amount of money, and then I'm going to live the lifestyle that I want, that's okay. But if you're in a position to where you can't be as extravagant as you want, my friend, we're going to have to become frugal. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't mean that you're going to be restrictive. All right. You might find that you enjoy being frugal. Okay. Like I said, there are many things that I do to this day. Okay. Number 1 is you're going to have to create a detailed budget. Give every single dollar a job. Do not leave extra money laying around to mess up. And if you do mess up, don't worry about it. Just adjust. Okay. You're not going to be perfect. Okay. I'm still adjusting my budget and tailoring it to my needs, and I still go off budget, but I am still frugal to some sense. Okay. Plan out your meals. This is going to be number 2. Plan out your meals. If you find that you eat out every night, you don't want to be doing that, especially if you're trying to get out of debt, because the money that you are eating out, you're literally eating your money. Okay. You're going to eat, you can go out and eat, and you're going to possibly forget that you even ate what you ate. Meanwhile, the money that you could have been saving or using has ultimately left you. Okay. Meanwhile, you're still in debt as well. So plan out your meals. Okay. I want you to start cooking at home. Okay. You're going to have to do a little bit of cooking. If you can read, you can cook. Okay. So, you're going to be looking at some cookbooks. You're going to be looking at some frugal meals. Okay. And like I said, they're not going to be boring, bland meals. Okay. You're not going to be uh uh eating beans and rice, as Dave Ramsey says. Of course he doesn't mean eating just beans and rice. It just means getting down to the bare essentials and maximizing how much you spend on food. That's going to be your biggest expense, okay? One of your biggest expenses, all right? It's one of my biggest, it's my only biggest expense, okay? I had a bad month just last month, okay? So I know that this is something that's going to be hard, okay? But like I said, it doesn't have to be bland or boring or the same thing. There are plenty of delicious meals that cost under $1 a serving. For example, tonight I'm having rotini pasta with some chicken, and I'm going to season it up, and I'm going to add all of the vegetables. I got some green peppers, I got some red peppers, I got some yellow peppers. I'm going to add them all up. I'm gonna throw some jalapenos in there. I'm probably gonna eat that for the next 2 or 3 days. Really good, really flavorful, really healthy, all that type of stuff. Cost me under $1 a serving. Okay, so what you're also gonna do is consistently monitor what you pay in expenses and subscriptions. Here's the thing: I do a weekly review of my expenses. I skimp and pass on a lot of things. This is not one of them. All right. I do this to see where I spent the most. If I don't like the numbers, I adjust for the next week. My rule for when it comes to subscriptions: if I don't use a service for at least 15 days, I have to cancel it for a month to see if it's something that really is needed in my life. Okay, so I've canceled a lot of subscriptions. I'm down to the bare minimum. I'm paying $2 a month for Hulu because I got it on their Black Friday sale. They were selling it for $2 a month. I have a couple of music subscriptions that I still use because I still do a little bit of music. And I have a Sling TV subscription, okay? The only reason I had a Sling subscription was so that I can watch Rick and Morty every Sunday. Now, the season just ended this past Sunday, so I don't know when they're coming out with another season. Other than that, I don't really watch TV. So when that, canceled that service because I don't really need that. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna do is buy used and refurbished. Okay, the truth about buying new things is that, one, they don't make you any money, and two, they lose a lot of value as soon as it's in your hands. Okay, I buy used on whatever I can. Okay, I bought a used car in cash. I bought a refurbished Google Pixel 3 that looks and works brand new. Okay. The reason why I do this is because more than likely the person who bought these things before you probably paid the full price and realized that they couldn't afford it. All right? That's God honest truth, okay? Buyer's remorse is real out here. But the thing is, items such as electronics and all kind of collectible gadgets, those things lose value as soon as you leave the store with it. As soon as you get the receipt for this item or items, it loses a ton of value. Okay, so somebody will return it, and then the manufacturer will go and do what they need to do and to make it, to resell it, because they got to make their money back, because, but they can't make the full price of their money back. So, they sell it to people like me, and I come in and buy it. Like I said, my Google Pixel looks amazing. Okay. This phone probably came out. When did this phone come out? It came out in 2019, I believe. Came out in 2019. I bought it in fair condition, but looks like they put a new face on it. The battery life is amazing, all day battery. You know what I mean? So, normal price when it comes out, or normal price when it came out is $800, and this is just 2 years later. Okay, the reselling price was about $300, but I bought it at $100. Plain and simple. I bought the phone at $100. It looks and feels and works as brand new. Bam. And last but not least, save on what can't be cut. I get it. You broke yourself down to the bare minimum. All right. But the issue with saving money and cutting things is that there is a limit to what you can cut before you start cutting into your essentials. Yes, if you have too much house, you can downgrade your house, but how much is it to where you can't, to where you're down to the bare minimum? You know, you don't want to live in a box and you don't want to live in horrible conditions. I'm not saying that. I would never say that. So there's things that you can't cut. There's things that you can't cut, but however, you can save on it. Okay. But in saying that, the only thing that I don't save money on is groceries. Okay. Number one, because I love food. Okay. That's the end all be all reason. I love food. Okay. So for me, trying to save on groceries means that I'll just spend it on fast food. And like I said, last month showed me that. But however, I reduced my internet bill by going with another company. I actually got a lot more value out of that. And, you know, because I own the phone that I have, I don't have to pay a monthly payment on the phone that I have. I bought it unlocked, so I can pretty much go with whatever service that I choose to go with. So I pay, I chose to go with Mint because they offer bulk pricing on your phone bill, which in turn is a lot cheaper. I mean, like as little as $15 a month for 12 months. Okay. So I ended up going with the unlimited deal. Cost me $360, but I don't have a phone bill for a whole year. I don't have to pay my phone bill until January of next year because I paid it back in January of this year. Okay, so I've been, phone bill free and enjoying all of the service. Haven't had a dropout or anything like that. All unlimited. Okay, so if you would like that link, definitely hit me up. And last but not least, I'm living with my mom until I get rid of my eviction debt. That is, by the way, I did get evicted from that apartment because they went up on the rent and I just couldn't afford it. I already couldn't afford my lifestyle at that point. That was just the icing on the cake. So I have an eviction debt. So until I get rid of that or I save up $10,000, whichever comes first, I'm living with my mom. Okay. And it's looking like the $10,000 is coming a lot sooner than expected. So yeah. Again, all of these small things in combination allowed me to take care of the most important thing, and that was to pay off my debt so I could truly start enjoying my life and start building family wealth. Again, your situation is totally different. There may be a lot of other factors involved. I just made the best out of my decision. Okay? So, however you choose to go about it, you need to choose the best possible situation and use these 3 steps as a guideline. So to take away from this, the best possible way to get out of debt fast is to increase your income. Otherwise, it will be a lot harder for you to get out of debt, and it will ultimately, unnecessarily take a lot longer. In the meantime, you want to be as frugal as possible with the money that you're making now. Okay, that is something you can do right now. You can decide, hey, I am not going to be my situation. I am going to overcome my situation. Okay, so with that said, here's the next steps. Like I said, tomorrow this video will be posted on financialcoachizzy.com and also my YouTube channel, which you can check out, is Financial Coach Izzy. Frugal Freedom, Financial Coach Izzy. This will be the recap. I also have 2 free guides. Still haven't finished them at the time. I'm actually, looking to hire somebody at this point, so, because I got what I want to say, but the writing part is just not my strong suit. So, but if you sign up, you get 2 free guides. I'll send it. You'll be grandfathered into that once it comes through, and you'll also get weekly insights. Okay, you'll get motivational tips to help you through your day. You're gonna walk into what I think about on a daily basis. I'm gonna sum it all up in just 1 week. All right, that's going to be the end of this, but be sure to check out next week. Next week we're going to be talking about why I do teach debt repayment before investing, okay? Because you're probably like, why can't I just invest the money why can't I just invest money instead of paying off debt and use the money to pay off debt? So, we'll be talking about that. So if you're excited about that, check me out next Thursday at 7 p.m. But until next time, have a good night. Thank you for watching, and peace.